I'm Julian Tonsmeyer. I'm from Juneau, Alaska, and I currently live in Golden, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Ryan. Ogni bene. For you that don't know, it means all's good in Italian. I'm 31 years old. I live in Boulder, Colorado, but I'm from Orange County, California. I came out here for college and just never left.
I'm Katie Farrington. I'm 37 years old and I live in Lafayette, Colorado, but I grew up as an Air Force brat, so we lived all over the U.S. and in Saudi Arabia and Korea.
I'm Lee Mebel from Golden, Colorado, 43 years old. I think I'm the grandfather of the team, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
We compete as Team Colorado Journey Racing. We're a group of friends, young and not as young anymore professionals from Colorado.
All of us we just pulled together sort of a good group of friends and teammates and racers from Colorado that brought us all together as the love of the sport.
We're all just so proud of the state, and we're proud to be from here and to work and play here, and we feel that adventure racing is such a big part of our lives and the journey that we're on.
I've known the three of my teammates for probably 10 years, and although we haven't raced together, I haven't raced with them, I've raced against them, and I very much wanted to race with them, so it should be kind of fun for them to hear my bad jokes and for them to experience me eating all their food.
The group that I race with, become friends with, mainly through adventure racing over the last 6 to 8 years. Initially racing against each other, especially Ryan, and then eventually joining forces and becoming a group together.
I've known Ryan, Lee, and Julian for about 7 or 8 years now, just through racing, either at adventure races or orienteering type races. And we've either raced against each other or on the same team. But these guys are like brothers to me now. They're some of my dearest friends, and I know they always have my back. But yeah, and I love them.
Yeah. Julian and I met at a race at some point, I think, grabbing a beer afterwards. Katie at an orienteering event. Lee dated my sister. So I know all of them from around the state of Colorado. It's a pretty tight-knit community here.
I had the privilege of growing up in Alaska in a family that was really into wilderness activities, so we did all kinds of fun things from sailing and climbing and skiing, whitewater trips, and then moved to Colorado to go to school and really pursued the lifestyle that brings so many of us here, where we can ski and climb and ride our bikes on the weekends.
Our team is pretty experienced. We've been, as a group, I think an average of racing for about 12, 15 years, pretty consistently every year. A couple expedition races, a couple 24s. That's not saying that's all we do. Julian and I have done skimo races, crossed from Crusty Butte to Aspen in Colorado. Have competed in orienteering races against each other.
I grew up traveling the world as an Air Force brat, and I've just developed a strong just need for travel. And Julian put it well one time when he said, she's the oldest daughter of an F-15 pilot. So early on I got into marathons, triathlons, and someone had invited me to an adventure race. Found out that I was pretty good at it. I enjoyed the component that was not just straight up racing. I liked the team dynamic. Met these guys. Our team's experience, we all probably have 30 to 40 expedition races under our belts, and then hundreds of 24-hour races or less. And so yeah, we feel like we're pretty experienced, but I just ultimately love the outdoors, love the travel, and love the journey.
The main thing we bring is Katie Farrington. She's the full package, She gets kind of mad when things aren't going the way that she likes, but she's the most competitive person I've ever met, and she's become a really good friend of mine, and she's good at hanging out in the men's locker room. And we also bring Ryan. He's kind of the straight man. He's the engineer. He wants to break out his graphing calculator, but I do appreciate his sense of ethics. He was an Eagle Scout, and so you can't ever get him to break a rule, which can be frustrating at times, but it's the right thing to do, and it's kept us competitive. And and on the right track. So, and then Lee's been part of our adventure racing community here in Colorado. He's our dirt bag teammate, who's more about lifestyle than income. Is kind of my take.
Our team brings not so serious attitude. Like we're there to enjoy it, to experience it, to race hard. Trying to keep up with those top teams. That's not what motivates us. It's to be out there with each other, push our limits. We've had races where you take a whiskey shot in the middle of it. We're there taking two.
I'm a mom, business owner, race director, very type A personality. Ryan's from the OC and laid back and newly married, loves his dog, and just, very different. And then there's Julian, who sells private jets all over the world, from Alaska. Dad lives in the middle of nowhere. And then there's Lee, who's a wilderness survival person. I'm not exactly sure. Vagabond.
Our team is very competitive. Yeah, we're one of the top teams in the United States, and right up there internationally.
Usually these long adventure races have like a 50% attrition, so we're definitely going to finish, and we're going to finish strong and represent the United States and represent Colorado.
I first became interested in the 90s. I'm a little bit older than Ryan in particular, but everybody. I remember seeing the Eco Challenge on Discovery Channel, and that's when I first got interested in adventure racing. I was in my early 20s then, and did some shorter adventure races, but was pursuing climbing and other outdoor activities more full-time at that time. So to me, just Eco Challenge is sort of the ultimate, and I want to go to Fiji.
I want to race an Eco Challenge because of the legacy of it. It's what started in the sport, and I was not very old when Eco Challenge came on. I had to go buy a VHS player at Goodwill just to watch Eco Challenge on VHSs. What's brought the sport into light, what's given me years and years of enjoyment, and going back to sort of where it all began.
When I got into adventure racing, probably back in 2002, 2003 is when Eco Challenge ended, and I desperately wanted to do it. Didn't have the experience, so I've subsequently raced in expedition races throughout the world, and when I heard Eco was coming back around, I was pretty jazzed.
Used to do triathlons, exterior triathlons, but the mental part of it was pretty limiting. It's like, do I want to go here hard now or in a little bit? In adventure racing, there's so much more of, do I go straight through the bushes here, or do I take the extra 10 miles around on the fire road? And that's something that's really drawn me to the sport.
So adventure racing to me is pushing myself, but I love the team aspect of it. I don't think any other activity outside of the military where 4 people are super dependent on each other. You always hear that you can only go as fast as the slowest person. So no matter what, when you're out there for days on end, there's always somebody that's hungry, there's always someone that's hurt, there's always someone that's tired, and it's motivating that person at the time, or motivating yourself to get through and to end the race as a team. And that's kind of the most important. Everyone starts off as friends, and there's times throughout the race that that friendship is questioned, but ultimately you pull through, and hopefully you end the race and you're all better friends and closer, and you share that experience for the remainder of your lives.
I was doing a race when I first started out, first expedition race, across the Baja Peninsula in Mexico, and 8 hours in, the storm rolls in, we're kayaking, 30-foot swells, we end up shipwrecking into the coast. Just big cliffs along it, there's a number of teams that shipwrecked, but yeah, we were out there, no GPS tracking, no one knew where we were.
2011, I did this Raid the North extreme adventure race, and we got off, we tried to take a shortcut, and we ended up climbing up a slippery waterfall, and we were already halfway up it before we realized that we probably should not be on it. Couldn't down climb, so we finished it, but we had 2 of our 4 teammates were crying a little bit, but we made it through, survived, and did well in the race.
A race a couple years ago called Primal Quest, and it was in and around Lake Tahoe, and they had us rappel off of this rock called Lover's Leap with our bikes on our backs. And we were the first team to arrive that actually had to do the rappel with the bikes. Pretty good, 1,000 feet plus rappel with a heavy bike on my back, and not too big. I weigh about 105 to 10 during race time, and I'm carrying my pack, a multi-day pack. It took us 8.5 days to do that race. Huge pack with the bike on my back. And about halfway through, I realized my back was giving out, and there's no place to go. I cannot go anywhere without just falling and dying. Like, I have to get through this. So to me, that was the scariest, and that like my body was failing and I didn't know what to do. Luckily, Julian was right next to me the whole time, talking me through it. And as soon as we got to the bottom, I started crying, and he took my bike, and we made it through. But yeah, I thought my body was gonna give at that point.
Katie, if you were to compare Ryan and Maya's ability to puke and rally,
Oh.
who's better?
Oh, that's a really great question. You guys are actually both pretty amazing at it. I think, you may win this one. You may win this one. Ryan's
Volume.
puke and rally. Yeah.
Volume.
But
Volume.
you know, to Ryan's credit, he hasn't had to puke and rally in years.
Yeah.
So he early on, he had to puke and rally. So that's a better path. I only puke and rally because I have to.
We're Team Colorado Journey Racing from Colorado.
Me personally, I like to win.
My favorite kind of adventure racing foods, or is whatever one else, whatever.
What was the question?
All right. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Get passionate. I am.
That's good.
And his. Okay. Start over. I hate this so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just take bits and pieces of all.
Yeah. We will. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
just
That was
stop.
good. That was good.
How many pieces that you-
Oh yeah. You want to mute that?
It is.
oh.
No, I think we should
I'll just
have
call
that.
911.
Oh my gosh.
Really? How?
No different emergency contacts? Stop. No.
I
I just called 911.
That's the thing where you.
Wow.
Well, look at that's my birthday, my blood type, my weight and height,
I know.
and then my emergency contact.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome. Except for like now I have to like probably deal with the police. We're Team Colorado Journey Racing from Colorado.
Why?
Why is that our team name?
I have no fucking idea.
I say all kinds of fun things.
I know Julian feels like he's like 80.
I'm 43 years old, so I was exposed to a lot of that ratto. And then it was night. Somebody could have died. And whitewater at night is terrifying. Somebody could have died. The hours and hours of wanting to shoot yourself in the head and puke all over yourself, fun. Somebody could have died.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the worst one
Yeah,
at this.
no.
Journey. All of us are on a journey, and that. Why are you smiling? Yeah, and I love them. I feel really weird looking at you while I'm saying that. I love you, Ryan. You really is like my little brother. Cut out most of what I talk about. Just a few words from Katie would be great.
We'll get
Few
the
words
gems.
from Katie.
We'll get the gems.
Floor down there. So it always makes for some fun conversation in the middle of the night during races when people ask me about vaginas and penises. Go to Fiji and hopefully win. No? The Eco Challenge Fiji and be able to show my kids, to have it all documented and just to be able to watch it for years and show my kids. Drinking game when Katie says show my kids.
Yeah, that's right.
you look like a damn elf.
Damn. I do have elf ears that I don't fold over at the top. Actually might be better. I might actually do better if like no one was here and I just was like talking to the wall. Like,
How does your husband feel that you're faster than him?
I don't know how to answer that. He handles it well. Probably better than most most guys. We're just normal people from all walks. I think this is why I'm the worst. This is why I'm the worst.
Nailed it.
Nailed it! Take two. We're just normal people from all walks of life that like to do extraordinary things outside.
Solid. Stole a quote from Primal Quest. Nailed it.
I changed it. I
That's
added
right.
from all
We've got
walks of
it
life.
inside.
That's all. That's all. Wow.
Yeah. Good.
It is for my one